Nature doesn't negotiate, apologize, or care about your weekend plans. Before we begin, if you enjoy bizarre facts, chaos, and proof that humanity is basically renting space on Earth, join our Telegram community. The link is waiting in the video description below. More strange stories, wild facts, and disasters the internet somehow forgot are there for you. Now grab your coffee, sit somewhere hopefully not above a fault line, and let's watch nature remind humanity that our skyscrapers, weather apps, and confidence levels are basically decorative accessories. 1. The earthquake that turned solid ground into soup. People love saying things like, "At least the ground beneath my feet is stable." Nature occasionally hears that sentence and takes it personally. During certain powerful earthquakes, a terrifying thing called liquefaction happens. It sounds like a science experiment gone wrong, but it's essentially the Earth deciding that being solid is overrated. Imagine waking up one morning, stepping outside, and discovering that the ground has suddenly adopted the consistency of oatmeal. Roads crack apart like stale crackers. Cars sink halfway into the earth. Entire buildings start leaning like they just had 6 margaritas at happy hour. The truly horrifying part is that people spend billions designing buildings strong enough to survive earthquakes, only for the ground itself to pull a plot twist worthy of a soap opera. It's like preparing for a boxing match and then realizing the ring itself wants to fight you. Humans built concrete, steel, and engineering marvels. Meanwhile, nature looked down and said, "Interesting strategy. Anyway, your parking lot is pudding now." 2. Tornadoes have absolutely no respect for logic. Tornadoes behave like a toddler with unlimited energy and zero supervision. They don't care about patterns. They don't care about fairness. They seem to make decisions using a giant spinning wheel labeled chaos. One house gets completely erased from existence. Next door, a lawn chair remains perfectly upright. A truck weighing several tons gets thrown across a field like an empty soda can, but Grandma's ceramic garden duck somehow survives untouched. Imagine insurance investigators trying to explain this. "Well, sir, the tornado removed your roof, your garage, your car, and most of your kitchen. What about my mailbox? Perfect condition." There have been cases where tornadoes carried photographs, documents, and personal items for miles before gently dropping them somewhere else. Think about that level of disrespect. Nature didn't destroy your family picture. It relocated it. Humans created radar systems and storm prediction technology. Tornadoes looked at all of that and basically replied, "Cute, spin the wheel." 3. Volcanoes are mountains with anger management issues. Most mountains seem peaceful. They're in postcards. People hike them. They appear in calendars hanging inside dentist offices. They look calm and majestic. Volcanoes are mountains hiding serious emotional problems. For years, sometimes centuries, they sit quietly, pretending everything is fine. Birds fly overhead, trees grow on the sides, tourists take smiling family photos. Then one day the mountain decides, "I've had enough." Suddenly rocks the size of refrigerators are flying through the air. Rivers of lava start moving downhill. Ash climbs miles into the atmosphere and turns daylight into something that looks like the season finale of Earth. And lava moves slowly enough to create false confidence. People see videos and think, "I could outrun that." Sure, but lava isn't the only problem. The real nightmare is pyroclastic flow, clouds of burning gas and debris moving faster than highway traffic. It's nature creating a giant oven and setting the temperature to absolutely unacceptable. Human civilization built cities, airports, and power grids. The volcano's response? That's adorable. Anyway, here's liquid rock. 4. Lightning has main character. Energy. Lightning behaves like it believes every storm exists specifically for its entertainment. Scientists can predict where storms might happen, but lightning itself still acts like a chaotic contestant on a game show called Pick Something Random. Think about this. A lightning bolt can heat the air around it to temperatures hotter than the surface of the sun. Hotter than the sun. Humanity built airplanes, satellites, smartphones, and artificial intelligence, while the sky occasionally decides to fire giant electric lasers at the planet. And lightning doesn't always choose obvious targets. Sure, tall buildings and trees get hit. Makes sense. But sometimes nature decides to get creative. People have had cars struck, boats struck, houses struck multiple times. Some unlucky individuals have even been hit more than once during their lives. Imagine surviving lightning and thinking, well, at least that'll never happen again. Then the sky looks down and says, actually, I wasn't finished. Humans invented surge protectors and lightning rods. Meanwhile, lightning still operates with the confidence of a drunk guy throwing darts while blindfolded. 5. Tsunamis. Turn entire oceans into bullies. People think of ocean waves as relaxing. Vacation commercials trained us for decades. Gentle waves, palm trees, slow-motion sunsets, background music that says, your stress disappears here. Tsunamis took that image and ripped it into tiny pieces. The terrifying thing about tsunamis is that they don't always look dramatic at first. Sometimes the ocean actually pulls backward before one arrives. Water suddenly retreats far from the shore. Fish flop around on exposed sand. Curious people walk out to investigate because human curiosity occasionally fights common sense and wins. Meanwhile, nature is quietly preparing something enormous. Because a tsunami isn't just a big wave, it's an entire moving wall of ocean carrying impossible force behind it. Cars become toys, buildings become obstacles, entire neighborhoods can disappear beneath water that refuses to stop moving. Imagine spending billions building a city beside the ocean, only for the ocean to suddenly stand up and announce, I live here too. Nature really looked at humanity's beachfront property dreams and said, cute little houses. 6. Hurricanes are giant. Rotating arguments against human confidence. Humans absolutely love feeling in control. We build weather satellites. We track storms with colorful maps. We give hurricanes names like they're invited guests coming for dinner. Oh no, Hurricane Sarah is coming. Sarah sounds like someone bringing potato salad to a family barbecue. Then Sarah arrives with 150-mile-per-hour winds and starts removing roofs from buildings like she's peeling bananas. The scary thing about hurricanes is their size. Tornadoes can destroy a neighborhood. Hurricanes can cover entire states. They slowly crawl toward land while everyone watches weather reports and secretly hopes the storm changes its mind. Spoiler: storms rarely care about your hopes. And hurricanes have this incredible ability to keep inventing new problems. First comes the wind, then flooding, then power outages, then flying debris. Suddenly, your lawn chair becomes an airborne missile with dreams of seeing the world. Humanity built skyscrapers and coastal cities. The hurricane looked at all of that and basically replied, I brought wind with commitment issues. 7. Wildfires move faster than fear. People sometimes imagine wildfires as slow-moving walls of flames crawling through forests. Reality is much more terrifying. Wildfires can move incredibly fast. Under the right conditions, they can race across landscapes faster than people expect, faster than plans can change, and definitely faster than someone standing outside saying, let's see how bad this gets. Heat, wind, dry conditions, suddenly nature combines everything like ingredients in the world's worst recipe. Trees explode into flames, embers fly through the air and create new fires miles away. Fire can literally jump roads, rivers, and areas people thought were safe. That's the part that feels unfair. Humans create fire breaks and evacuation plans. Fire responds by deciding normal rules are optional. Imagine spending years building your home, planting trees, painting walls, making memories, and creating your perfect place. Then nature sends burning leaves through the air like evil confetti. Wildfires feel like Earth suddenly deciding, you know what? Let's try everything toasted. 8. Floods ignore every human schedule ever created. Floods are strangely rude disasters because they don't kick the door down immediately. They arrive slowly enough to create dangerous optimism. You see water on the street and think, that doesn't look too bad. Then an hour later, your neighborhood suddenly resembles a deleted scene from Waterworld. Water has unbelievable patience. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't get distracted. It just keeps moving wherever gravity tells it to go. Tiny streams become rivers. Rivers become monsters. Roads disappear beneath muddy water that hides everything underneath. And humans always underestimate it. People see 6 inches of water and think they can drive through it. Nature watches this confidence like a wildlife documentary narrator. Observe the human approaching the flooded road. Despite thousands of years of evolution, the creature believes physics has made an exception today. Humanity built roads, bridges, and entire cities. Water simply looked around and said, Interesting floor plan. Mine now. 9. Sinkholes are Earth's surprise trapdoors. Most people trust the ground completely. You walk on it every day. You build houses on it. You park your car on it and assume the giant rock beneath your feet plans on staying where it is. Then sinkholes happen. One minute everything looks perfectly normal. Cars are parked. People are drinking coffee. Somebody is probably complaining about gas prices somewhere. Then suddenly the Earth decides, actually, I need this space back. And the ground simply disappears. That's the disturbing part. Sinkholes don't arrive with dramatic music or giant warning sirens. They don't announce themselves like hurricanes. The planet just quietly opens a hole where solid ground used to be. Entire roads have vanished. Houses have collapsed. Swimming pools have disappeared like somebody pulled a giant drain plug underneath the neighborhood. Imagine explaining this to people hundreds of years ago. What happened to your house? The Earth ate it. Humans built foundations, engineering systems, and construction plans. The ground looked up and basically said, interesting. Unfortunately, I wasn't finished moving. 10 hailstorms drop ice from the sky. Like nature lost its temper. Rain feels normal. Snow feels peaceful. Hail feels like the sky suddenly got angry and started throwing frozen rocks. Imagine sitting comfortably inside your car listening to music, thinking about dinner plans, when suddenly the roof sounds like someone is attacking it with baseballs. That's hail. Tiny pieces can be annoying. Bigger pieces become terrifying. Some hailstones have reached sizes close to grapefruits. Grapefruits falling from the sky. Think about how absurd that sounds. Humanity built airplanes capable of crossing oceans and computers that fit in your pocket. Meanwhile, nature occasionally decides, today we're dropping frozen fruit-sized missiles. And hail shows absolutely no respect for expensive things. Cars, dented, roofs, damaged, windows, gone. Some storms can destroy thousands of vehicles in minutes. Imagine proudly buying your dream car on Friday. By Sunday, the sky itself personally customized it with dents. Insurance companies probably hear hail forecasts and immediately start sweating harder than people carrying mattresses upstairs. Nature really looked at weather and thought, you know what rain needs? Violence. 11. Avalanches are mountains. Pressing fast-forward snow always gets wonderful advertising. Movies show people skiing through beautiful mountains. Families throw snowballs. Christmas cards convince us snow exists mainly to create happiness and hot chocolate commercials. Mountains sometimes disagree, because avalanches happen when enormous amounts of snow suddenly decide staying put is no longer interesting. Imagine standing on a mountain where everything seems peaceful. Silence, beautiful scenery, fresh air. Then gravity suddenly clocks in for work. Entire hillsides collapse into giant moving rivers of snow and ice. Trees snap apart. Rocks tumble downhill. Anything in the path simply becomes part of the ride nobody wanted tickets for. And snow somehow becomes more terrifying because it normally feels harmless. Nobody fears one snowflake. But millions of snowflakes joining together apparently create a giant white freight train with anger issues. Humans invented skis, winter resorts, and cozy mountain cabins. The mountain quietly responded, enjoy your vacation. 12. Dust storms can delete entire landscapes. People complain about dust in their homes all the time. Tiny layer on the television? Annoying. Dust on shelves? Irritating. Nature heard these complaints and said, you think that's dust? Dust storms can become giant moving walls swallowing entire landscapes. Suddenly the sky changes color. Daylight starts disappearing. Visibility drops so much that places only a few feet away vanish. Imagine driving down a road and suddenly the world starts getting erased in real time. Cars disappear. Buildings disappear. Everything turns into one giant cloud of dirt. The really strange thing is that dust seems harmless by itself. One tiny grain means absolutely nothing. But nature loves teamwork. Millions and millions of tiny particles suddenly join forces like they're assembling for the final battle scene in an action movie. Humans created navigation systems, highways, and modern transportation. The wind looked around and said, let's hide everything and see what happens. 13. Heat waves quietly become monsters. Most disasters arrive dramatically. Earthquakes shake things, hurricanes spin things, tornadoes throw things. Heat waves walk into the room quietly, like villains in movies who don't need to raise their voice. At first it feels normal. Wow, it's hot today. Then tomorrow is hotter. Then the next day becomes ridiculous. Then suddenly, sidewalks are burning, roads begin warping, and people start treating air conditioners like sacred technology from another civilization. The weird thing about heat is how invisible it feels. You can't see it moving toward you. No giant cloud appears. No warning soundtrack plays. It's just air becoming increasingly hostile. Cities become giant ovens because concrete and buildings trap heat everywhere. Humanity built giant cities filled with glass and steel. The sun looked down and said, "Very nice. Let's see how you enjoy giant outdoor microwaves." 14. Ice storms turn entire cities into giant skating rinks. Ice looks harmless until it covers absolutely everything. Movies convince us ice means snowmen and cozy fireplaces. Reality occasionally chooses chaos instead. Ice storms arrive and suddenly roads become giant slips of paper with wheels on them. Trees bend under impossible weight. Power lines snap apart. Sidewalks become survival challenges, and people always overestimate themselves. Every winter, someone steps outside thinking, "I've walked before, I understand feet." 5 seconds later, they're performing moves that look less like walking and more like interpretive dance. The truly scary part is that ice can bring entire cities to a stop. Cars slide, traffic stops, power disappears, everything suddenly becomes a giant obstacle course designed by gravity. Humans created roads, tires, and transportation systems. Ice simply replied, "Good luck steering." 15. Nature loves combining disasters like movie crossovers. One disaster already sounds bad enough, but nature occasionally decides one problem isn't entertaining enough, so it starts combining them. Earthquake? Sure. Now let's add a tsunami. Wildfire? Great. Now bring powerful winds. Hurricane? Perfect. Now add flooding and tornadoes for extra confusion. It's like Earth suddenly becomes a director making disaster sequels nobody asked for. Imagine surviving one terrifying event and thinking, "Okay, that's over." Then nature walks back into the room holding another disaster like bonus round. That's what makes natural disasters feel so overwhelming. Humans spend years preparing for one danger at a time. Flood plans, fire plans, storm plans. Nature apparently skipped the instructions and pressed random buttons instead. Humanity built emergency systems, technology, and giant cities filled with millions of people. The planet occasionally stares at all that effort and casually says, "Let's make things interesting." 16. Solar storms can punch technology in the face. Most people think the sun is just that friendly giant thing hanging in the sky, making beaches warm and ruining television screens when you're trying to watch something outside. The sun occasionally remembers it's actually a giant nuclear explosion happening nonstop. Solar storms happen when massive bursts of energy and charged particles get thrown into space. Most of the time, Earth gets lucky, but sometimes our planet sits directly in the path like somebody standing where they absolutely shouldn't. Imagine waking up and discovering GPS doesn't work. Satellites stop behaving normally. Power systems struggle. Communication systems start acting weird. And the truly strange thing is that the danger came from something sitting 93 million miles away. Humans built entire civilizations around electricity and technology. We filled life with phones, internet connections, and satellites orbiting above our heads. Meanwhile, the sun occasionally looks down and says, "Remember who pays the light bill around here?" 17. Rogue waves prove oceans secretly enjoy. Surprises, most people imagine ocean waves as predictable. They go up, they go down, repeat forever while somebody drinks lemonade nearby. Then rogue waves arrive and completely destroy that comforting idea. For years, sailors talked about enormous waves appearing out of nowhere, giant walls of water rising suddenly in places where they weren't supposed to exist. People thought these stories were exaggerated, sea legends, dramatic sailor behavior. Then science basically looked around and said, well, apparently, they weren't lying. Rogue waves can rise far above surrounding waves, appearing suddenly like the ocean skipped several levels of difficulty without warning. Imagine standing on a ship during rough weather. Everything already feels unpleasant. The sea moves, wind hits your face, Then somebody points ahead and says, "Why is there suddenly a building made of water?" Ships built with incredible engineering have been damaged by these monsters. Humanity spent centuries learning how to cross oceans. The ocean still occasionally responds. You sure about that? 18. Mudslides turn entire hills into rivers. Mud sounds harmless. Kids play with it. People get annoyed when it gets on shoes. Farmers deal with it every day. Then nature adds water, gravity, and terrible timing. Suddenly, mud stops being mud and becomes something much darker. Mudslides can move enormous amounts of earth downhill with shocking speed. Trees disappear, cars vanish. Entire homes can be pushed away as if somebody grabbed the landscape and hit fast forward. The scary part is how ordinary everything can look beforehand. A peaceful hillside, a quiet neighborhood, rain falling outside. Nobody looks out the window and thinks, "The mountain appears to be loading." But then the ground suddenly begins moving. Imagine seeing the hill behind your house decide it no longer wants to be behind your house. Human beings spend decades carefully shaping land and building communities. Gravity quietly waits nearby like, "My turn." 19. Droughts are slow motion. Disasters usually love dramatic entrances. Huge waves, powerful winds, buildings shaking. Droughts take a different approach. Droughts are like villains in movies who walk slowly because they know nobody can stop them anyway. At first, nothing feels serious. Maybe rain doesn't come this week. Maybe next month feels a little dry. Then rivers start shrinking. Lakes begin pulling away from their shorelines. Fields dry out. Suddenly, places that once looked alive begin looking tired. And people hate slow disasters because humans are strangely good at ignoring problems moving at walking speed. Imagine seeing your savings account lose $1 every day. At first, you barely notice. Then, months later, you're staring at disaster, wondering when things became terrible. Nature sometimes does exactly that with water. Humans built farms, cities, and giant systems depending on predictable seasons. The sky occasionally shrugs and says, "No deliveries today?" 20. Blizzards can turn. The world into a white maze snow seems harmless when it's falling gently outside your window. It's peaceful, beautiful. Perfect weather for staying inside with coffee and pretending responsibilities don't exist. Blizzards take that nice image and throw it directly into a snowbank. Because blizzards aren't just snow, they're snow combined with powerful wind and visibility so bad the world practically disappears. Imagine opening your front door and seeing nothing but white. Roads vanish. Cars vanish, buildings disappear. Suddenly, your neighborhood feels like somebody erased reality with a giant white marker. The strange thing is that snow itself weighs almost nothing. Tiny flakes drift slowly through the air, but millions of them together become powerful enough to shut down cities. Humans built highways, airports, and transportation systems designed for speed. Winter looked around and replied, "Nobody's going anywhere today." 21. Nature doesn't care about human timetables. Humans organize everything: work schedules, flight times, vacation plans, birthday parties. We honestly act like calendars mean something to the planet. Then natural disasters happen. Earthquakes don't care if it's Monday. Floods don't postpone themselves because people are sleeping. Hurricanes don't check whether families planned beach vacations 6 months ago. Nature operates like that one friend who never reads group messages and just shows up whenever they feel like it. Imagine spending years planning the perfect city, building roads and houses and businesses. Then one day the planet casually interrupts everything. No warning, no apology, no customer support number to call. Because deep down, every natural disaster reminds us of one uncomfortable truth. Human beings built incredible things: skyscrapers, technology, entire civilizations. But we're still living on a giant spinning rock with weather. And sometimes that giant spinning rock decides to remind us who technically owns the property. 22. Meteor impacts are the universe sending unscheduled deliveries. People spend a lot of time worrying about disasters coming from Earth. Storms, earthquakes, volcanoes, plenty to keep us busy already. Then the universe casually reminds us, by the way, objects are also falling from space. Meteor impacts feel unfair because they aren't even local problems. This is space joining the argument. Imagine sitting peacefully at home drinking coffee while a giant rock that's been traveling for millions of years suddenly decides your planet looks interesting. Dinosaurs had the worst customer service experience in history. No warning notification, no emergency text alert, just one terrible day that permanently changed everything. The scary part is that space is absolutely full of flying rocks. Tiny ones burn up constantly. Most never become a problem. But every so often, scientists discover an asteroid passing relatively close to Earth, and suddenly everyone starts saying things like, well, that's uncomfortable information. Humans built rockets and space programs. The universe quietly replied, cute hobby. 23. Volcanic ash. Can shut down the modern world. People hear the word ash and imagine something small, like what remains after a campfire, a little dust, a minor inconvenience. Volcanic ash looked at regular ash and said, watch this. Because volcanic ash isn't soft and harmless. It's made from tiny, sharp particles of rock and glass. Tiny floating pieces of rock glass. Imagine millions of microscopic razor blades filling the air. Airplanes suddenly become nervous. Engines stop liking life choices. Cities disappear beneath gray skies. Cars struggle. Breathing becomes difficult. The weird thing is how something that looks almost like ordinary dust can create chaos across entire countries. People once watched huge volcanic eruptions disrupt flights thousands of miles away. Think about that. A mountain explodes somewhere far away, and suddenly people sitting in airports are hearing, your flight has been canceled because the Earth is having emotions again. Humans built global transportation systems. The volcanoes simply coughed. 24. Extreme winds. Treat heavy objects like toys. People trust heavy things. Big trucks, large signs, massive objects. Heavy equals stable in our brains. Nature occasionally laughs at this logic. Extreme winds have thrown trains off tracks. They've moved vehicles. They've ripped roofs away and sent objects flying that absolutely should not be flying. Imagine watching a refrigerator become airborne. There are certain things your brain simply refuses to process correctly. Flying birds? Normal. Flying leaves? Fine. Flying kitchen appliances? No, because refrigerators belong on floors. That's part of the agreement. The scary thing is that wind itself is invisible. You can't even see the thing causing the damage. You're watching trees bend and objects move while the actual force behind everything remains hidden. It's basically getting punched by invisible air. Humans created giant buildings and engineering systems. The atmosphere looked around and said, let's see if these are attached properly. 25. Nature can create fire tornadoes. Because apparently regular fire wasn't enough. At some point, reality starts sounding fake. Fire tornadoes are one of those moments, because somebody explaining this sounds like they're making things up. Okay, so imagine fire. Reasonable. Now, imagine a tornado. Still following. Now combine them. Absolutely not. But fire tornadoes can happen when intense heat and powerful winds combine together. Suddenly, flames begin spinning upward into giant columns of destruction. It's like nature accidentally mixed two disaster settings at once. Imagine seeing a giant spinning tower of fire moving across the landscape. At that point, your survival instincts probably stop giving useful advice and simply start screaming. Humans spend years developing safety plans for fires. Then nature suddenly creates flaming weather with bonus rotation. Somewhere deep inside the laws of physics, there had to be a meeting where someone suggested, this feels excessive. Nature apparently approved it anyway. 26. Earth can shake for months. Without stopping people, imagine earthquakes as short, terrifying moments. The ground shakes, everyone panics, then it ends. Sometimes Earth decides one performance isn't enough. Certain earthquake events produce aftershocks that continue for weeks or even months. Imagine spending every day wondering, are we done? Then suddenly the ground shakes again, and again, and again. It's like the planet keeps pressing the replay button. That might honestly be the worst part psychologically. Humans love certainty. We like knowing when problems begin and when problems end. Earth occasionally says, best I can do is uncertainty. Imagine trying to relax, eat dinner, sleep normally, or focus on work while the floor beneath you keeps reminding everyone who's really in charge. Humans built homes to feel safe and stable. The ground looked up and replied, stable is a very confident word. 27. Supervolcanoes exist just to keep humanity humble. Regular volcanoes are terrifying enough. Lava, ash, explosions, entire mountains throwing tantrums. Then scientists discovered something even more uncomfortable: supervolcanoes. These aren't normal volcanoes. These are giant systems so enormous that if one erupts, we're not talking about one city having a terrible week. We're talking about global consequences. Imagine ash spreading across continents, temperatures changing, agriculture struggling, entire systems feeling the effects. The truly horrifying part? Some supervolcanoes don't even look dramatic. No giant mountain, no evil-looking peak rising into the sky. Sometimes they're quietly sitting underneath landscapes where people drive to work and complain about traffic. Meanwhile, beneath everything, the planet is basically storing unimaginable energy. Humans built civilizations and started feeling pretty confident. Nature occasionally whispers, "Don't get carried away." Nature still owns Earth. We're basically long-term guests paying emotional rent.